Justice Sikri talking about how the legal system has to improve, and this is an alarming situation. But there is another very crucial aspect of what we've been seeing over the last few days, which we want to focus on here on the India Development Debate. Remember, we're talking in the context of the Hyderabad horror, what has happened in Unnao, shocking incidents day after day, and what it really does to the confidence of women in this country who want to go out and simply earn a living. How does it impact their participation in the labor force and by effect their participation in the economy? Speaking to me now and bringing some perspective on this aspect is Nandita Gurjar, former HR head of Infosys. Ms. Gurjar, thank you so much for speaking with us today on the show. And you know, just your voice on this. We know that the share of women in India's labor force, their participation in India's labor force has been dropping over time, even as more and more women are getting educated. And we don't know if safety is one of the reasons. But how do you think the sense of feeling unsafe contributes to this?
So thank you for having me here. I think it's a very important discussion because what we have been seeing on media in the last few days has been horrifying. I mean, the perspective here is that these incidents have always been happening. I'm sure over centuries. The good part is that the media is now projecting this and bringing it into our homes, making us more conscious as a community in saying that we need to stand up and to say and put a stop to this. There are more and more women who are educated, more and more women who are going outside at different times of the day and evening. And today a lot of that has changed. However, the mindset of people and of society unfortunately has not coped up. So look at the outrage which is going on. I mean, some of the interviews in the last few days has been horrifying. There are MPs and people of state talking about the woman is responsible because she should not have been going out in the night. She must have been wearing clothes which were seducing. I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous, right? I think the first fundamental thing is that men and women have to be treated as equal and given the right to make their choices, right? That fundamental thing is not getting addressed at all. I mean, though we talk about the number of women who are getting educated are getting higher and higher, the number of men who are educated are higher, which means that they understand the women's role in society. With all the statistics so-called going up, the society fabric of accepting that a woman is out to earn a living or to go out and to mix with the fraternity are not accepted as things which is her right to do. I think that is appalling, and that really the policies the government safety, the safety for women have not coped up in managing this women's workforce, which is coming out in large numbers today.
No, so give us some perspective, from your vast experience of how this actually impacts women's participation in the workforce. How does it impact the way employers, and I'm not talking about huge, well-established employers, because those are few and far between. But how does this sense of lack of safety impact even their employment in the first place? Then are prospective employers going to think twice about bringing women on in positions where they will have to travel late or go outside their cities or do anything that seems mildly dangerous?
Yeah, let's take the manufacturing industry, for example. How many women are there actually in the plant? Right? Very, very few. I mean, it's actually dismal if they are there at all. And the reasons given for that is that no, it's not a safe place to work. I mean, what does that even mean? If they are operating machinery, why is it not safe? Right? Most of these things are automated. Let's take the BPO industry. The BPO industry, where a large amount of women, where almost 30 to 40% of them are women, actually was made possible because most of the organizations ensured that these women were picked up from their homes and they were dropped back. giving them, you know, so the companies, the organizations actually took the safety of the women as priority, right? They did not expect that, you know, there would be more police in the night, or, you know, the government will make sure that, you know, there was a safety which was provided. So they cannot travel, even think of traveling in public transport after 8 o'clock or, you know, 9 o'clock. So the rule is that if they are working after 8, then, you know, the transport should be provided by the organization, and that they should make sure that safety, you know, the women are safe. I think that part of it puts a lot of onus on the organization. So the natural reaction for a lot of managers would be, let's not have women in the workforce, because, you know, it means too much trouble. We need to organize this. It's an additional cost. Whereas for men, we don't have any such rule. Right? So this goes against the women in the workforce, because this additional safety which needs to be provided by organizations is looked upon as a cost. Right? So you know, this minimizes them. Let's talk about travel. Right? Airports, for example, which are going further and further from the city, women are saying, I'm not going to take the late night flight or the early morning flight. You know, I'm not going to travel, you know, at times which are what we call as unsafe times, right? And so the natural reaction of the manager would be that, you know, if you are doing that, I mean, you know, I would rather than send the man.
Right.
So she then, you know, has lesser chances of managing her performance, of, you know, getting her promotions, getting her increments, because, you know, she seems to be a person who says no all the time. And a large part of this is safety, where she is worried about herself, but more importantly, there is a family pressure of saying, I hope you're not going to be traveling, I hope you're not going to be going out in the night, you know, where are you? Your family is calling up 3 times in the evening, asking questions on have you reached, you know, this is unnecessary tension that we have created upon women today. And something really needs to be done to just make it an easier place for all of us to live.
No, and the fact is that it's hurting us economically as well. There is a McKinsey survey which says that we could add up to 18% to our GDP by 2025 simply by giving equal opportunities to women. And today we seem just so far from that situation. What really can be done, Nandita? Do you think that the onus
yes, absolutely.
now primarily falls on the employers, the companies, or now it's governments? Governments respond by saying no women in night shifts, no women working after 8, you know, very myopically.
Yes. Yes. You know, so again, then the onus is on the organizations, and I think more and more organizations have to adopt to the piece of saying that we have to allow 50, I mean, women are 50% of the workforce, right? I mean, you can't just say no to them. You know, you have to accommodate what it takes to make sure that it is a safe place for them to work. And this part of it is just outside of the organization. Even inside the organization, after, you know, the women come into their shifts and, you know, come to the workplace, it seems as an unsafe place if you do not have very strict anti-sexual harassment policies, if you do not have anti-discrimination policies, if you have a very fair process of managing their performance, not just based on the gender or the fact that she would get pregnant or the fact that she would take leave or the fact that, you know, she cannot travel or, you know, she will be absent on certain days. You know, if all these pieces are taken in and very, very fair policies are covered, you know, in the organization, then it would make it much easier for women to get into the workplace. It's a continuous battle, right from when she leaves home to come to the workplace, to in the workplace, you know, managing all the discriminations, managing these harassments of different kinds, and then, you know, getting back home, wondering if she's going to be safe, you know, getting back home. I mean, this is really not, you know, a safe place for women. This is not the way women should be existing, right? In the 21st century, you know, this is supposed to be the best part of civilization, and you know, women are facing such a high problem here.
You know, that's the, I think, saddest part of it all. We're just asking for an equal chance, just an equal chance. No special incentives. Just give us the
Absolutely.
same level playing field. You don't have to look over your shoulder just for existing. Thank you so much, Nandita, for joining us today. We hope all of you who are watching this program have got some real, grounded inputs on something which has bothered everyone in this country, something which bothers all of us. Yes, we want to see justice being done. No, there's no sympathy for beasts who can rape and murder a woman for just no reason at all. But do we want to be a nation that follows the law of the land, even if it's a long and painful process? I think if we look inside, the answer for everyone will have to be yes. We'll take a very short break here, but when we come back, we're talking about the fact that consumer confidence has dropped to a 6-year low. What does that really mean, and how do we get people to be confident again about consuming goods and products? We really need that right now in the economy. Also, when we come back, we're going to talk about that SOS call that Kumar Mangalam Birla has sent out and tell you what our Union Environmental Minister thinks about the impact of pollution on our lives. A lot more lined up. Don't go away.